Okay, I think we are live, everybody. We are, I'm relaxing today. I'm in my home theater nook because today we are looking at a television. I got to go live on Amazon here real quick. And I thought I would include you in my evaluative process here as we work our way through everything. So if you're just tuning in, first of all, let me know if the lip sync is okay. I'm going to check my my thing here. So if you're just tuning in, there we go. Looks good. So what we're doing is we're taking a look today at the Hisense R. What is this? This is the R65R8F, and this, as you can see, is a Roku TV. And we're going to be doing a few of the things that I am just playing around with on the set here to come up with my review of it. And then probably tomorrow I'm going to shoot the full review. So right now I'm just kind of doing, just doing some basic stuff here. And I should mention that this is not a 8K TV. This is a 4K TV. And it's a very low price television, actually. This one is, well, for the size. This one is $799. I'm sorry, is it $799? No, it's $699. So $700, 65-inch 4K. Supports 60 hertz. It supports HDR, and it supports Dolby Vision. Now, there's always some trade-offs that you run into with these things, but so far I've been finding it's pretty decent. It's not, going to be comparable to my OLED upstairs, but I'm pretty happy with it so far, and I really just started playing around with it earlier today. I've actually spent more time trying to get my setup here. I'm actually shooting in a different part of the room, so this is my home theater nook. And I wanted to just show you a couple of things before we begin playing around with the techie side of things that I liked about the set, because the base here fits on my older TV stand. So this TV stand I was using with a 55-inch set. And normally, and I ran into this when I bought my 65-inch upstairs, you run into a problem with the stand not being wide enough. And this one actually gives you the option to put the stand closer in like it is here, and it's still perfectly stable. So you can have it further out or you can have it closer in, and that actually allowed me to use my existing stand that I was using with my 55-inch set, so that worked out pretty well. I should mention this came in free of charge from Hisense, who manufactures this TV, and I'm going to be using this to test out stuff here in the studio rolling forward, because my existing set that I bought about, 2 or 3 years ago, that set did not have the Dolby Vision, and so this one does, and I can do all the stuff that I want to test on modern things here. So, so that is the stand, and that's what I liked about that. Kind of a simple thing there. Looks like you're only getting audio out of one channel, and that is because this is only giving you audio out of one channel. So can I figure out a way to give you audio out of both channels here with my TriCaster? I don't know. I do this occasionally, and I'm trying to figure out the way to do that on this audio channel. So bear with me, folks. I am going to figure this out and hopefully give you 2-channel audio. I think if I move this into the middle, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now you should have 2-channel audio. And let me know if that's working better for you. Okay, that problem solved. And there we go. Okay, so now we're back in full stereo, hopefully. Hopefully the audio sounds good. I'm on a different camera also. I'm using my Canon camera. I didn't want to dismantle my entire set over there, so I'm still using the TriCaster. But everything you're seeing right now is going out over NDI. So I have a PTZ camera that you can't see right over there. That's shooting the television, and then the camera shooting me is also going out over the network. So everything that I'm shooting right now is going through my network over to my TriCaster and then out to all of you. So we're doing video capture completely over the network, which is totally awesome. So there we go. All right, we've got some folks in here. Soundman is here. The Sansa is here, who let me know about the audio. Thank you very much. McRambo was watching my Roku Ultra review only last night, so that's kind of funny. Yeah, we're now looking at a Roku TV. This is a full integration of Roku into a TV. And one of the things you'll notice here as I look at the remote is that you have the inputs kind of front and center like their own little Roku channels, including your antenna TV. Now, I don't get anything over the air here, so we're not even going to, well, we'll try it, but we'll see if it picks up anything. It likely won't. I don't have an antenna attached, but I don't get anything over the air to begin with, and I'm in my basement, so the chances here are quite slim. But you've got this integration. I probably will try to get something so I can show you what the interface looks like. So we'll give that a shot in a second here. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't find anything. So I'll probably, for the review, maybe get some kind of antenna hooked up and see if we can pick up something down here, but I doubt it. But yeah, other than that, it's a Roku. So you can do all the Roku stuff that you would normally do. You've got the Roku channel, which I like quite a bit. That's working on here, obviously. And I think they have like a 4K thing that you can use to take a look at. A friend of mine's been watching this show. She's really into it. I got to check it out. So that seems to work. So I think what I'll do, I had a couple of things on my notes that I wanted to test. And we can kind of step through it. So McRambo wants to know if you could plug a dish into it. You can't directly. You could plug in the dish through HDMI, so you could hook the tuner up that way, and we'll kind of play around with that a little bit. So what I thought I would do, maybe to start with here, I'm still kind of adjusting some of the imagery because I think it looks okay. It's so hard to review televisions because you're trying to like convey what it looks like. But I thought what I would do first is actually start off with, let me get Disney Plus going on here. Because I wanted to see how the set does with space scenes, and specifically kind of Star Wars and that sort of thing, because on an LED set like this, you really start to appreciate black levels if you've ever used an OLED display before. And I'm curious to see how it handles that. Now, the deal with this set is that it apparently has a type of panel that allows for very localized dimming of the backlight. So when you have something black on screen, it apparently looks pretty black. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be looking for. And what I'm going to do first here is I'm just going to cut to me real quick because I've got to log into my Disney Plus here. And you can see I've got to get my hair figured out. My Flowbee comes in very soon. So I think we'll have a little Flowbee demo at some point. Let me just get my Disney Plus logged in. Disney Plus actually makes it pretty easy to log in because if I am on my phone, see, usually it lets you log in with the phone when you're just on the same network, but I guess that's not gonna let me do that. All right, so let me log in with my, it's so, I hate using the remote to type in my email address. It just takes forever. But we will do that real quick, and then we will try out the Disney Plus thing. So Salmian says, what is the nits? I think it goes to 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look that up in the reviewer guide there. It's actually pretty bright. I'm pretty pleased with the brightness. It's going to look a little dim just because of how my camera interacts with it, but I've been pretty happy with that. Let's go at, oh my gosh, this is so painful. Usually, it must be a Roku thing, because usually on Disney Plus, I just have to take my phone out, and it'll work, but this does not appear to be working that way. And the thing I'm really dreading is I have all these super long passwords, and I know that's going to be a problem. Although I guess what I could do to make this more efficient is load up the Roku app on my phone, and then I can use that instead. So let me pull that up again. I couldn't find my email. Come on. I guess I'm on a different email address. All right, so I'm going to pull up the Roku app real quick, and I can actually show you, I think, what that looks like. But yeah, the price point on this, I think, is pretty reasonable. Now, I did spend a little bit of time with it this morning. I'll just cut back to the screen so you can see what it looks like. I did spend some time with it this morning, and I was pleased. The big deal with this, as far as, like where do you see the price point come into play? The quality of the image is fine. It's 4K. It looks great. Where you see the quality come in is the sound. The speakers are not very good on the set. They're on the bottom, so they're kind of downward firing. And the other issue I'm seeing with it is that when you go off center, you lose the image quality pretty quickly. So we'll do some demoing of that too. And give me 1 second here. I'm just going to load up my Roku app so I can more efficiently control my TV. And we're going to select my Hisense television. And here, let me show you this. This is pretty cool how this works. So I'm going to just share my phone screen with you. I have this new app. It's an NDI app. So I'm going to give you, I'm going to replace my image down in the corner with my phone image. So I'm going to load my phone into input 8 here. And check this out, everybody. So we're going to go over to 8. Isn't that cool? So you get like this little app that you can run. And then if you have to type in something, so for example, if we go back over to Disney Plus here, where'd it go? Disney Plus. Okay, so if I go back to Disney Plus here, okay, so yeah, 60 zone and then 700 nits peak. It looks pretty bright to me. I'm actually pretty pleased with it. I have an OLED upstairs, so you know I'm used to that kind of brightness level. All right, so I'm going to go log in again. And now what's cool is that when I select, and I'll show you this, when I select text now, I can type it in on my phone. And it's a lot easier to work with. And you're just seeing part of the image because I have it cut off from my image there. But you get the idea as to how that works. It's pretty cool. All right, let me just switch back to me on that image, and we'll get myself going there. All right, there we go. I'm just going to switch back here while I type in my info and get that going. I had to remember what email I was using for Disney Plus. And I meant to do this before I started, but I did not, so I apologize. So we'll get that going. B to Bubba is here. Laz Martinez wants to know if my Shield is connected to it. It is. And we will look at that in a minute because I want to see if some of my HDR Blu-rays work. All right, I'll enter my password. And now I've got to go to my password manager and look that up real quick. So let me go pop that in because I got a super long password. And I have been starving all day today. All right, so we'll get this going real quick here. Copy my Disney Plus password. And we paste that in. I've got like 2.5 years of Disney Plus, I think. I did like they had a pre-sale when it first came out. And I will say that it's okay. My kids like it more than I do. I like The Mandalorian. That was a great show. But I haven't seen a lot of other stuff yet on it that I'm like, oh, that's a must-watch kind of thing. Okay, so now we are back up. So we can load up Darth Daddy. That's me. I run the roost here, as they say. Okay, so we'll pop in here. So the first thing we're going to investigate, and I've got to be like super careful with this because we're dealing with all the copyright issues. So we're going to be super careful as we work our way through some of these things. So what we'll start with is Star Wars. And yes, we are still in the basement. So this is my home theater nook. So when I first put together this this little thing down here, I had built in a little area for doing videos about this stuff. And every once in a while, we'll do something over here. The last couple of TV reviews that I did were TVs that I bought for myself. So we largely just kind of did those upstairs where I installed everything. But down here, of course, is where we're doing the other stuff. So I'm going to go in and load up Return of the Jedi, because I think that one is, I think they did that in Dolby Vision. Let's see. Yep, so this will give us a good idea as to how this is going to go. And I got to figure out now the best way to do this, because we're looking at like potential copyright problems on YouTube especially. So let me go back to the Amazon chat. So I might end up like zooming the camera in certain spots. And that's what's cool. I've got this PTZ camera that lets me do that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to just hit the play button here and resume the film. Now you'll see the TV shift over to Dolby Vision mode, or at least it should. Yep, there it goes. So we got Dolby Vision up there. And There we go. All right, so it is up and running. So now I want to be careful here because we, of course, have all sorts of copyright problems if we just run this movie in the course of doing this. And I also, it's kind of hard to navigate on Disney Plus, isn't it? Because I want to start the movie from the beginning. Oh, it supports Atmos also. I didn't realize that. All right. I will say this is not looking that great, but I think it might take a bit for it to stream up. And I've got these films, the Blu-rays on my Plex server, so I'm going to check those out in a little bit also. I think we're just dealing with some of the Disney compression. So Matt Green here is wondering if I moved everything. No, I actually just, we're all NDI right now, so I have an NDI PTZ camera up right now. And I've got another camera that I hooked up also via NDI, so we're just using the network. And I did run a long HDMI cable out to this monitor right here to monitor the TriCaster as I'm playing around with stuff here. I just want to try, I'm trying to get like a chapter list. But you know what? I'm not getting what I want out of this. Let's go back here for a second. Oops. The good thing is that it does... All right, here we go. I can restart, or it says restart, start from the beginning. Because I wanted to look specifically at the letterboxing and the space scene here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so now we're getting what I was looking for. And I might turn off my studio lights in a minute, too. And Matt Green loves NDI. I do also, because it just makes things so much easier. Because I don't have to run long cables. I don't have to move the TriCaster over. Both of these cameras that we're using right now are all just on the network, and they just work. It's amazing. And I can also control this camera. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm just going to pause the movie right in this spot, and I'm hoping that the text will, there it goes, perfect. Okay, so we're going to shut off the light that I'm using. And I am like living in like the most like wonderful time because I can just turn my studio light off here with my phone. And I need to figure out on this PTZ camera how to get it to not auto do itself here. So let's go back to, you're seeing me kind of figure out these problems in real time because I want to get the exposure locked so we're not continually adjusting here. So if I go on to camera 7, you can see how bright that is. That's not what I'm seeing here. So we're going to go and hit the menu on this camera, and I got to pull it up over here. And this computer put itself to sleep, which was my monitor. There we go. And we'll see if we can figure this out. Yeah, the TriCasters are really good for this sort of thing. And the best part is I can monitor. So I've got a laptop in front of me that's working as a monitor with their studio monitor for NDI as well. All right, so we're going to go to exposure. Bear with me, folks. This is me getting set up for tomorrow's shoot. So, that's what I was looking for, manual. Okay, and we can adjust the iris now. And so we'll iris down a little bit here. I'm just trying to get it close to what I'm seeing. And then we'll look at the shutter speed here. We'll go maybe to... Let's go to 60, and then we'll turn the iris down a little, turn it up a little bit. That's down. I'm going to go the other way. So I'm just trying to get around some of that glow, because the picture looks a lot better than you're seeing right now, and I'm trying to get this to really more fairly represent what I'm looking at. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, I think we're good there. And then let's just iris the other way. So one challenge with video is that video cameras are not quite there on the low light. They really struggle. And it makes a review like this really difficult because the picture that I see is just a lot better than what you're getting right now and what the viewers will get in the final review. So I may actually bring in a different camera to do this part. And we'll see if there's a gain setting also. That's a good point. So I got some good video experts in here to help, which is always good. So let's see if I have a gain control in the image section. So you have luminance, is that gain? Yeah, there we go. That's starting to look better. And we have a gamma setting too. So let's see what that can do for us. And again, I'm just trying to get it to be close to what, what it is I'm actually seeing. So that's kind of the tricky part with this, is to get it close, because the color is a little washed out right now on the camera, but on the TV it's fine. So this is kind of the stuff that I struggle with. But that's starting to look better. And we're using a PTZ optics camera. And now what I want to try here, because this is a pan, tilt, and zoom camera, what we can do, we are getting close to what it's looking like, so I'm starting to feel satisfied here. What we can also do now is, if I go over to input 6 here, we can zoom in. Actually, wrong input, that's my other camera, it's input 7. You're not seeing what I'm doing, but you'll see the result of it in a second here. So I can zoom this thing in just by controlling it here. I can go even further than that. And then I can go up to the, yeah, that's what I want to show you. Perfect, okay. So that way I can actually show part of the movie here without, that's what I want. So now, let's start the movie up here. And I might actually start taking some B-roll. Because this is one of the things, so when I got this LED set last year, let me turn the volume off also. I got this LED set a couple of years ago, right before I got my OLED, and I was really disappointed with the backlight bleed. And you often can't avoid it. But as you can see in the corner, the movie's playing right now, so you'll see the words start to work their way up in a minute. But it's doing a pretty good job. The localized backlighting here is better than I expected it to be. Much better than I expected. What you'll see differently, though, is the areas in which the screen is lit up. So there is definitely a bit of a glow behind that star field where the stars are, because you have to have some backlight on to get the image up. And so that's the kind of stuff that you struggle with when you've got something like this here. Let me show you. You can see the words going on screen there now. So that's where it is. By the way, this PTZ camera, these are expensive. These are like $2,400. But people love them because you can hook them up. They actually work over power over Ethernet. So you just plug them in and you're good to go. But you can see here, like it's pretty good. I mean, you're not seeing a lot of glow there. I may want to turn up the brightness a little bit. Actually, let me pause this real quick, and let's tilt down. So let me go over to camera 6 or camera 7 here, and we'll just tilt down a little bit. And so you can see the edge of there. I'm going to start recording actually, because I'm looking to get some B-roll that I can work with later. And once that goes away. So that's one of the things that I kind of look for is, are we seeing a lot of backlight bleed that's distracting, especially in a letterbox movie like this? And the answer is you really don't. It's really pretty good. But, and I'll pause it here again, what you will see is when you look at, some of the star field and stuff, you'll see a little bit more of a glow there. Let me see if I can get a good comparative between. So compared to my OLED, there's definitely more of a glow. And like right here, it looks super glowy. And this could just be, having to get settings set correctly. There's some things that I could probably be doing better here. God, I loved this movie as a kid. It's funny. I was my first grader. I was her age when this movie came out, and I was just like nuts about it. I saw this 9 times in the movie theater. I still know every line in this movie. Because this was like the Star Wars movie that I was old enough to go to, so I was so psyched about that. All right, so yeah, so I mean it's fine. I mean for the price point, it actually does better than this expensive LG set I bought a couple of years ago. But I mean compared to an OLED, there's no comparison. What I might do is pull up Plex and look at how it looks on. Yeah, here's another good shot. So you see like that localized backlighting for the letterboxing works great. And if you've got like a well-lit scene like this, it's not bad. But, you know, and this is the issue that you always run into with these TV sets, these LED sets, is that you're not going to get the deep blacks that you'll get out of an OLED or a more expensive LED like some of the stuff that Samsung is doing. You know, there's definitely some, you know, the image quality is just not as good. But you're also paying half the price or a third of the price. So, you know, there's that. PhotoSense is really looking for trouble here. I'm not getting into that. I am not getting into that. All right, so there we go. So we got some good B-roll here I can work with. I think what I want to do actually is pull up a better quality version of this film. By the way, here's something really cool with this PTZ camera because I can set zones for it. So if I hit this, it goes right back to where we had it before. Isn't that cool? So I think, see, we could run Plex locally on the set, but it's the Roku version of Plex. So it's not going to be as robust as the one that runs on my Shield, which I could get the Shield up and running in a minute too. And Soundman, I'm actually using, so my camera is running with the Bird Dog HDMI box right now. So I've got that one running also over power over Ethernet. It's great. Now, one thing that you're seeing on screen is some like zebra lines. That is the camera, not the TV. I'm going to be struggling with this because it is an LED set. So you'll see that, and I have an anti-flicker feature on the camera. And it was working before, but now it's become evident again that it's not. So let's go and look at the image here. I think it's in here that there's a anti-flicker mode. Let's go back one notch here. One of these has the no, it's not exposure. Color maybe. Oh. Nope. I had found the setting before. Now I can't find it. Image. And then my computer just turned off again. I got to set this screen to stay on. Oh no. We're still streaming. Okay. Drop my keyboard. Everything's going kaput. There is a mode to adjust the. It's in here. One of these modes has it. It's weird because it was in a spot that surprised me that it was in that spot. Noise reduction. Nope. Setup. Where'd it go? There was a setting for flicker reduction. Unless maybe I turned that off when we went auto. Yeah, it was like a setting, and you could actually go and do 60 hertz or 50. Let me go back and look where I was looking here. We'll see you, Soundman. Thanks for stopping in. And we will have a full review. So right now I'm just kind of going through some of my evaluations here. And I just got to find that setting here. All right, plus the switch on. Here's the spot for my camera. I'm like doing multiple troubleshootings with different things here. All right, flicker, where's that? That's the wrong thing. Anti-flicker. Okay, so it's in exposure. And I think because I went off auto is why we lose the flicker control. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's what happens. So if we go back to auto, Yeah, so that's where you get the flicker control. All right, we'll put it back on for now. And we just need to adjust the gain again. Because, yeah, it's how it's all blown out now, so we got to figure this out. Nothing's easy, folks. Let me tell you. The flicker's gone, but now we're blown out. Can I adjust the image? Let's see if I can get it adjusted over here. Yeah, I can bring down the gamma. But not enough. All right, so let's go over to luminance and see if we can do that. And if not, we're just going to go back to the other mode. I may have to use a different camera to shoot the B-roll. This has actually been a bit of a project with this TV. The arrival of it was a project because it came on a truck, and we have all the social distancing going on now, so I had to make sure that I had the ability to interact with the driver without exposing either one of us. So it was a whole big production here. All right, I think I could probably adjust with the shutter speed is probably how we're going to do it. So let's look at if we get it to, so at 60 frames, 60, right, that's how we do it. So we're going to now adjust down on the shutter, and that should, it's a little bit better there. And we'll turn the gain down here and see if we can get that to work. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to get the best representation of what I am seeing with my eyes. That's the problem with these TV reviews. You got to be really, it's really hard to get it right because you have to really explain things. Thank you, Carol, for your super chat contribution. And yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed with it. It's it's not rivaling my OLED, but that's to be expected because that's a much more expensive TV set. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's doing pretty well. There's a couple of things that I'm noticing, like sound quality in particular. That's the big issue. But I'm telling you, if you're in the market for a low price television, I'm actually surprised I am liking it as much as I am. So that's been good. And I'm just going to pull up one of these Blu-ray movies, and I need to also set my, so I'm on the native client right now, which I think is going to struggle with the Blu-ray movie because Roku doesn't do great with the high-end Blu-ray stuff. So we'll probably bring in my Shield in a minute to get some of that stuff tested. But I think if we go over to settings here, and let's go to video. Yeah, we're going to have to bring in the, all right. Yeah, we're probably going to go to the Shield in a minute because I don't think it's going to be able to keep up here. So let's get the Shield going. We got to turn on my home theater receiver. Now this does support HDMI, the audio return channel, so you can use if you have a receiver, it'll work well with that. So you got that as an option, and let's go and get that going here. So I've got to switch over. So what we'll do here, I'll show you what I'm doing. What's nice about this Roku, see when you have Roku for your TV, it works like a Roku. So you've got your HDMIs show up as channels. So we'll switch over to HDMI 1, and I think, yeah, we're on the Shield there. So the Shield should come up, hopefully. And we'll also test and see if CEC is working. Yep, there we go. And let's see, I don't know if CEC is working through the TV, because I have this working on my receiver. So I think, bear with me for 1 second here, folks. All right, so I got to figure out why my Shield is not cooperating. I haven't turned on this Shield in a while, so let me grab that. Yeah, this is turning out to be a great demo, everybody. I'm sorry, this is like so awful. Let me Let me see if I can get this thing fixed here real quick. I may have to just cycle power to it. It hasn't been used in a while. It is it connected to? Oh no, it's actually disconnected. It is connected. No, that's right. That's a different cable. Okay, so it is in the wall there. So it should be working. I'm just going to pull the power on it and reboot it. There we go. We'll get that going. But yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed with the set. I'll go back to some Roku stuff here while that's rebooting. So yeah, you get all of your inputs here. All the apps are here, and what's nice too is that because it's Roku, you get Apple TV built right into the set here, so we can load that up. Amazon Prime works, obviously, so that's been good. And one of the things that's been really nice about this so far is that it's not defaulting to the motion stuff when you're watching a movie. So if you've got a movie that comes up, it is not doing that soap opera effect. They actually turn it off by default. It's got it, but it's not on by default, and that's a real improvement. So there you go. So yeah, so here's and it's so hard to show you, but I can explain it to you. So for example, right now we're seeing this thumbnail image, and the big thing that I notice on this set versus my 65-inch OLED upstairs is that when you have a scene like this that has some bright areas and some dark areas, the dark areas are not as dark as they would be on a more expensive set. And so that's a big difference between something at this price point and something that's not at this price point. That said, if you were to upgrade to this set from some older TV that you've had for a while, you're going to be just fine with it. It looks just fine, but there's a definite image quality difference between this one and a set that would cost 3 times as much. And if you're wondering what the difference in price is, that's what it is. It's that. In areas where it can do better with the local dimming, I think this set has 60 different local dimming areas. You will see times when those dark areas look better. So here's an example. Again, I'm just looking at thumbnail images, but I'm seeing it. So the morning show right now is appropriately dark. So you know what I mean? So that one looks good to me, but this, if I was looking at this on my OLED, it would look darker, if that makes sense. Thank you for the super chat, the frugal audiophile. Much appreciated. I am very much appreciative of that, and thank you for the kind comments there. So yeah, I think they have, and Jeremy Gold's talking about how they have 4K version of Android TV versions also. But like I said, I've been really not disappointed, which is good, because usually when you look at like a lower end set like this, sometimes you don't get the highest quality. But so far it's good, and it's funny, like it's always the little things that really impress me, and the fact that you have 2 positions for the base was really a big deal for me, because I didn't have to upgrade my my stand to be able to use it. Okay, so yeah, I didn't expect CEC to work the way I have things set up, but it's fine. So let me go back over here real quick. And I got a great couch here, by the way. This couch, you can't see it, but it has a electric motor for the reclining mode, and it's got 2 recliners built into it. We have a furniture company in Connecticut called Bob's, so I bought this when I finished up the basement. All right, so let's go over to Plex. I'm just getting Plex loaded up real quick, and we'll see how some of the Blu-ray stuff works. And I have to, oh great, now it's not signing in. Really? Come on. I think I've got to just reset everything. So this shield has not been used in a while. So I've got 4 shields now. Yeah, so this is my 4th one that doesn't get used that often. So I've got to just re-log into everything. We'll get that going. Yeah, this is turning out to be not a very eventful stream because nothing is set up properly. I spent time today setting up everything, thinking that this other stuff would be super easy to do, and then it's turning out not to be the case. So I think yeah, we'll have the Plex demo when we do the other thing. But the good news is that I was able to get the shot that I was looking for in regards to the letterboxing. So that was something I wanted to cover. Next is some video gaming, right? So let me jump out of here, and I've got on my desk, or on my table, I can show you actually, because I can show you with my camera here. We have, let's get my, and that's my old TV right there. Look at that, we've got my NT Mini. And this is an area where I noticed some problems as I was playing around with it. Specifically, and I'll show you what I mean here when we get this booted up. The big issue I'm having with it is I think the speed of the, I guess I didn't show you that, did I? The speed of the display, what do they call it? The, not the refresh rate, the pixel speed, what do they call that? It'll come to me. Turn it on here. I thought I turned it on, but maybe not. There we go. Okay. So I like to test my TVs with my analog NT Mini console, and I do this for a couple of reasons. And wait for it to focus there. Hopefully it does. One reason is that the NT Mini is super quick. It'll focus in a second here once I get something loaded up here. It is super quick. There it goes. When you have, for input latency, because it uses the original NES controllers that are not being plugged in via USB. There's nothing like to screw it up. So this is my original Nintendo controller from 30 years ago, and it's working exactly like it did on the original hardware. So let me go over to my demo folder here, and we'll just load up Castlevania 3, perhaps. And this is an area where, like, the black levels look great. I mean, it's been really good. So that the localized dimming is working pretty well here. I just totally messed that up. But I'm noticing some stuff on scrolling that's concerning me. And I set it up properly, too. I followed the directions of My Life in Gaming. Those guys know what they're doing, and I use their settings that they use on their NT Mini. So you'll see what I mean here when it starts scrolling. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a flicker. See that? And I think it's due, I'm going to start recording some B-roll here, actually. I think it might be the speed in which the panel updates itself, because I have it set up, exactly the way you would set it up to avoid flicker. And once it gets moving, the background's kind of blurry, and then it'll sharpen once it stops moving. And that tells me that the refresh, or I can't remember the term off the top of my head at the moment, but there's a term for the speed in which the pixels are able to refresh themselves, and that's why you'll get a little bit of motion blur. And that's not unusual for any TV set in this modern age, and LEDs in particular. So that's one thing I'm noticing here. And I wouldn't notice it as much if it wasn't so jarring when it starts. Like you can see the whole screen just get like blurry as it begins moving, and then it like has this abrupt halt. And then even like stuff, see that? It's like a little flashiness to it. And I think it's just due to the ability of this panel to refresh itself. Like how fast can it get those pixels reset? And I would love to get some input from all of you on exactly what I'm experiencing here. It's not bad. I mean, what's funny is that it looks great. I'm not seeing any black light bleed. Like this is where you would see a lot of black light bleed, especially at the top with the text. I'm not getting that. So it's really been pretty good. And I'm noticing my image is a little bit blurry, so I'm going to just try to see if I can adjust the focus here real quick to give you a better view of it. Let's see, focus. So it definitely looks a little bit blurry, so I'm just going to pull up my screen here and get a better image of it. Because it looks super sharp. Oh, that's really blurry. So you guys aren't even seeing what I'm seeing here, so let's get Let's see if I can get this to sharpen up a bit. There we go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just adjust this up a little bit. It's having a hard time for this game for some reason focusing. So let me just get the camera better situated here. All right, so we're going to go to manual. There we go. Oh, it just went off again. And I can leave it here, and I think we'll get a good image. Almost there. There we go. And I think what I want to do also is probably go back in and adjust the image quality, because we are just a little bit washed out. Because the image, I'm telling you, like, I'm really, like, the fact that I'm not seeing a lot of backlight bleed here, that to me has been the most pleasing part of this experience so far, has been that. Because it really is pretty good. Oops. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. No. Menu back. Okay, let's go back and just see if we can get the exposure adjusted just a little bit. It looks like it lost focus again after I left that menu, so let me go back. And this camera's just been really fussy today. I think I might turn the gain down just one more notch. Because I got to leave it at 60 to avoid that that LED flicker. Yeah, it's getting better now. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a constant juggling act to kind of get the image close to what I'm seeing. So we might do a little bit in post-production also. This is hard too because you have some very light areas and some very dark areas. And of course, we're playing an 8-bit Nintendo game on a 4K TV. That is not lost on me either. So let me get a little bit on the focus here. All right, let's see if we can get this sharper here. I'm just focusing with the controller. That's good. Okay, hopefully it stays there. We can keep going. So Jeremy Gold is watching on his own Hisense panel. That's pretty cool. Yeah, these are good. These are, this is kind of a budget line, but it's good. So now what I want to do now is to show you what I experienced a minute ago. So I'm going to start recording again, and we'll get the scrolling going here. I think I have to get back up to this level here. Yeah, so I'm seeing, like I said, there's just a bit of flicker to things here. And that was weird. Did you all see that? It just kind of like changed the... It suddenly filled up the screen more than it did before. Let's see if I can get moving in this direction here. We can... Yeah, so yes, I'm the guy that's going to load up an 8-bit NES game on his 4K TV. But it was weird. I just saw like things just changed, and now it's back to normal. Isn't that weird? So here's where you're going to see, this could be a little glitch on my NT Mini also. But you see how it's got this bit of a flicker that stops when you stop moving. And I think it's just due to the speed in which the display is able to refresh the pixels. That's what I'm seeing here, just motion blur. And again, that's one of the compromises that you make. You see that blur? I'm seeing it on my screen here. That's one of the compromises you make when you go for a lower cost TV. And what I'll also be doing is testing the input lag of the TV. So right now it is in game mode, and we have it on really one of the lowest cost, or one of the lowest latency devices that are out there. This is the NT Mini. Yeah, so all right, good stuff. All right, so now I'm going to go. Yeah, so Carol, this is gonna be my secondary TV. And this is down in my studio. So I do a lot of home theater gear testing, of course. So this is something that I'm going to be using to do that testing, because I had a Samsung TV I bought a while ago, and that one is great, but it's an older one now, and it doesn't do the Dolby Vision. So things that we need to check for Dolby Vision into HDR and and 60 hertz and yada yada yada, like that. Older set didn't do all of those things. This one does. All right, let me go back out here, and let's see. I've got a joystick tester, controller test. Oops. And let's do that real quick. And what I'm going to do with this is we're going to shoot a quick little latency test on my phone to see how long it takes for the button push to register on screen. One of the things they're advertising with this is very low latency for gaming, and you have to put it into game mode to do that, and I'll show you that menu in a second. So what I'm going to do is just, I've got my iPhone out here, which is running 240 frames per second in slow-mo, and what we're going to do is just measure how long it takes for that button to get pushed. And I'll be playing that video back later once it gets up to my iCloud, and we'll see how long it takes. So there we go. Let's get a better spot here. There we go. And what's funny, what feels quick to me doesn't always equal quick. But generally what I look for in this is a very unscientific test, but it seems to work pretty well for comparing displays. So what I look for is about 44 milliseconds of latency. And that is inclusive of the HDMI, so all the stuff that sits in between, the processing of the image on the TV. Even in game mode, there's some processing and some upscaling going on because this console runs at 1080p, so there's some upscaling on the TV to bring it to 4K. So there's a lot of things that will slow down that input. And that's something that my little unscientific test here at least gives us an idea. So, you know, the actual number could be different, perhaps, if you were to measure it scientifically with all the electronics and everything. But we're able to kind of make those comparisons there. So that is that. And let's see, I got too many remote controls again, which is my lot in life. The funny thing was my daughter saw the TV in the garage yesterday, and she said, "Does Daddy really need another TV?" And I said, yes, he does. But the good news is that whenever I do have extra TVs, I donate them. So one of the TVs that we'll be swapping out will, there it is, will go to a good home, hopefully. So we got that done. All right, so let that transfer up to my iCloud. Once it gets there, I can take a look at that image, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so another thing I like about the set is that you get these little previews. See that? So it'll show you what's actually on the input. So for example, so I can actually control, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm controlling the input, right? It's like a little picture-in-picture thing. Isn't that cool? So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's there. All right, let me go back out here real quick. And next thing we'll do is we'll load up a PC game and see how that looks on the set. Give that a shot. Also, you might be curious as to its power consumption. So the TV's on right now. It's got the full brightness on. So what I think I can do right now is pull up my NDI camera, and I apologize for the mess, everybody. We're going to go to camera 8. And you can see how I have everything hooked up. So this is the PTZ optics camera that's shooting the screen. And then, and this is please do not judge me based on my current wiring situation, but it's been a very busy week. So here is the camera that's shooting me and my wireless microphone there, and then we've got the bird dog going to the TriCaster back over there. So it's all over the network. Now here's another thing I wanted to show you. So check out the image quality here, right? Looks okay. But then as you go off center, it degrades pretty quickly. You lose a lot of that, and it actually looks worse to me here than it does to the camera. So you lose a lot of that clarity if you go off center. So if you've got a big room and people are going to be sitting around the TV, that's another area when you look at these lower price sets that you have to think about, is that viewing angle. The OLEDs have great viewing angles. These are not as good. So just bear that in mind. But overall, not bad. So I wanted to show you, the power consumption. So I have a kilowatt here running, and right now it's doing about 142 watts. And I think it can go as high as 200. So what we could try to do is maybe strain it a little bit with a 4K something or other, so we can go back over to Netflix here and just start playing something here that might impact it. So let's just resume. Let's pause that real quick. And so we're playing a 4K HDR Dolby Vision TV show right now, and yeah, now it's up to like 195 or so. So about 200 watts when you're using the smart TV function. Probably a little bit less if you're not, but of course you're going to have some other device that's going to be consuming that power. So there you go on that. All right, let's take some more questions from the chat room. Isn't it cool how I can just bring in cameras? This is what's great about NDI. I did a video about NDI if you want to learn more, but you can turn your phone into a camera, if it's an iPhone at the moment. You can take your iPhone screen and project that into your production workflow. You've got all these cameras you can hook up. So, everything that you're seeing from me video-wise in this live stream is all coming over the network. I've got nothing physically plugged in. All right, so let's see. I have some. Yeah, William Wilkinson said Stadia is now free. I should try out a little bit of Stadia. I actually have the Stadia controller, which I never actually hooked up. I did play with it a little bit, but I was so reluctant to buy the games because of all that. All right, so let's go back to my 2-up view here. ME2, there we go. And I think I want to zoom out the camera just slightly. And we'll hook up my PC. I got a gaming PC, my little laptop gaming PC. And I figured we'd hook that up and take a look at how a more modern game would look and play on there. So let's try that out real quick. I'm just going to get my camera adjusted a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So next up, we're going to get my gaming PC booted up. How are we doing on time? We're doing good on time. But yeah, I'm getting all the basics done. I'm going to shoot this tomorrow. I've spent a good amount of time with the TV today, getting it out of the box. It was actually pretty easy to set up. There wasn't any real problems with it. I think Roku for general consumers is probably the best platform, just because they don't have a lot of issues with things not being available. So you get, as I mentioned, you get Apple TV on there. You pretty much have every major platform on that TV, which makes life really much easier. And I just need to get my wireless keyboard for the laptop to get that going. And we'll get that hooked up. So we'll do a little 4K gaming or something, right? Plug that in there. So I'm just curious to see if we'll see some of those blurry pixel issues on this. And I also need a game controller. And I think I might have left the game controller upstairs. Let me see if, did I not bring it down? Yeah, so let me go run upstairs and grab that. You might hear my children greet me as I go upstairs. They actually like me still, which is good. So let me go grab that controller. Go. Yep, there it is. All right, so and my oldest actually took a nap today, which was amazing. She never takes a nap. And I got batteries in here. And by the way, if you've never, I have one of these Xbox things that I can plug into the laptop. So we're going to plug that in real quick. And hopefully, when all this stuff gets connected here, we can load up a 4K PC game and see how all this works. Okay. So we got that going. And now I just need to get my PC to send its display. Yeah, so we're going to turn off mirroring, and we're only going to show on 2. And I believe I hooked up the HDMI already. I did. So we're in HDMI. This has 4 HDMI inputs, by the way. So it's pretty good on the input front. And I think we're in HDMI 3. There we go. Okay. So now I just need to, so we want to go full on 4K here. So we need to get that going. So we're going to just turn off mirroring. I did not confirm my settings change. There we go. There we go. Okay. And let's make sure we're at 4K. I think I'm at 4K. Let's take a look. It doesn't tell me what my resolution is. Let me close out of here real quick. I'm pretty sure it is that. Oops. An Amazon customer is on the chat. Hello. Yeah, let's go take a look at the NVIDIA control panel. I'm pretty sure it's running at 4K. And this, by the way, is another area where I'm noticing, that it's that the bright, the dark areas are not as dark as they would be on my OLED. And that's, I mean, the problem with the OLED TVs is that they are so good that they will ruin you for anything else. Oh, it is only at okay, so let's go to 3840 by 2160 at 60 hertz. Apply that. And that will get us to, there we go. All right, now we are where I want to be. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to log into my Steam account and we'll load up one of my favorite games and see how that goes. I have a Game Pass also. I don't think I have many games installed. It's odd to say this, but I don't have many games installed on this gaming laptop. What's funny is I bought it for a production computer to have down here because I had an Alienware that one of my viewers just purchased from me, actually, because it was too big and bulky. So I bought a Lenovo Y740-15, and that's been a really good, I'm really very happy with it. It's super fast. It's got the 2080 Max-Q. Works great. All right. So there we go. We're up and running here. The fans are blowing on that thing. And I want to pick a game that I can play with the game controller. So I've got my Xbox controller here that I believe is paired up with the wireless dongle I have connected to that laptop, although it is blinking at me. So I think I might have broken that pairing. Oh, let me just do this real quick, folks. Sorry. We'll be ready in just a second here. There we go. Okay. All right. So now, see, now it's looking darker to you than it is to me. So this is it's going to be a constant, constantly adjusting stuff here, I think. And let me just make sure that my So No Man's Sky had an update, so let's just run that real quick. It should be a pretty small one. And then we'll jump into that. The reason why I like No Man's Sky is that it's a very varied game. You've got flight, you have walking around, you get all the stuff that you'd see in a PC game. So we'll let that happen there. And it looks like William's having some issues with a blue screen. Yeah, BSODs are not good typically. Oh, it's a 5.7 gig update. That's a big one. It looks like it's coming down pretty quick, so let that update real quick. So let's see how that's coming along here. Is that too dark for all of you? I could brighten that up a little bit. I'm just afraid to mess with it. Because it is a tad brighter in person than you're seeing right now. And it looks like it got blurry again, too. Hey, Con is here. Hope you are doing well in Berlin. So I think I mentioned to you on a stream earlier, my friend Con, who just popped in, I met him in Berlin when we were out there for IFA back in September, and he showed me all around the city. Had a great time. It was really good stuff. So he has joined us on the chat. Yeah, the focus is off on this again. So I'm going to hit manual and get that focus sharper. There we go. Yeah, the one thing with the PTZ optics cameras is that they tend to get they're very finicky, and you really have to tweak them a bit to get them working the way you want. It's even the color there. As I'm changing the focus, the color has been changing too. So just a constant fight. But there you go. I think that's looking better. And I'm just waiting for this update to come down. Because, of course, there's an update right in the middle of everything, right? And Jose's asking about the family. Yeah, we're all doing fine. We're perfectly good here. I have not gotten in my car and driven anywhere in a month. Tomorrow will be a month. Yeah, that looks better. It's a tad on the darker side. But I think it's good for now. And then I've just got to figure out for the B-roll. I think the B-roll will be fine. I could always boost it a little bit in post-production, which will just it'll more accurately represent what I've been experiencing there. All right, so let's pop up No Man's Sky real quick. And what I want to do, I should be okay on settings because I think I set them before. By the way, you can see all the Steam games that I have and never play. I joke about this all the time, but I kid you not. Like when stuff goes on sale, I just buy it and I never actually get around to playing it. And I think I'm just going to pop into the GeForce Experience real quick just to make sure the optimal settings are set. Because I'm trying to get as much of a 4K experience as we can get here. And this GPU and this thing will drive at that resolution, so we should be in good shape. Let's make sure that it's set to 4K. Yep, we're good. Okay. And is there no better story in gaming than No Man's Sky? Like a developer actually doing right by people and improving the game and making it better. I've sunk so many hours into this just because I like to just run around and do stuff. And the multiplayer aspect's gotten really good on it too. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, so we're running at 4K. This game will run just over, probably around 30, 45 or so in 4K on this computer. My new one upstairs, my new video card upstairs, I'm getting 60 now at 4K. It's awesome. All right, there we go. Okay. Actually, I'm doing about 60 here. That's not bad at all. Okay, so let's hop into my spaceship here. And we'll just go leave the Nexus. And by the way, if you haven't played this game in VR, you got to try it out because it's so awesome, the VR experience on this. All right, so what I'm going to do before we get too much further is we're going to make sure we're in game mode. So to do that, you hit the star button on the controller. And what's nice is the Roku interface kind of permeates the whole thing here. And there is a game mode in here somewhere. Picture mode, vivid, sports, normal, picture settings, picture mode, movie, low power, vivid, sports, normal. There's a game mode in here somewhere. I got to find it. Turn that off. Game mode on. Here we go. So that's what you want. Oops, and that's what you want for the lowest latency. Wow, this computer is running this at 4K at over 60 frames per second. That's awesome. It's a laptop. And this is the planet that my daughter and I have settled our base onto there. So we can pop in there real quick, and then we'll look at something else. My base is over here. And this is currently the, it's running through my receiver here because we have the ARC enabled. And I'm just going to record some B-roll. And I'm always running out of fuel in this game, too. That's the other thing that happens here. So we'll just give ourselves some fuel here to speed up the descent. But it looks good. Yeah, I said, I think the big thing that I'm noticing here is, you know, just, and I'm so spoiled. Like I said, if you have ever spent time with an OLED television at this size, it will ruin you for any other TV, because you will immediately notice some of the differences in contrast and black levels, and you just can't avoid it. What I'm impressed about with this set is that I'm not seeing the backlight bleed that is typical with something like this. So it does much better than an LG set that I bought about 3 or 4 years ago. They had a great picture, but you would see this, like, it had very limited backlight zones, and that was something that was super noticeable. So this is much better by comparison. So when you haven't, you know, if it's able to make it work, you'll see a nice black area. But when you have a more illuminated area, kind of like this right here, because this is, you know, this is a dimmer scene, I would have a much darker, blacker portion of that big thing up there than I am seeing on this set. But again, I'm not, you know, that's just the nature of the price point. So you could spend 3 times as much and get a better quality image, but you would be spending that much more, and this is not bad. Yeah, so we're running at 60 hertz, 4K. Looks beautiful on a Windows PC. I have a little bit of clipping because I have, they turned off VSync, so let me just adjust that real quick. And just to get the clipping out of there. So I'm just going to turn VSync on, because we're not looking for performance measurements today. We are just looking for image quality. Yeah, it looks great. Looks great. Beautiful. All right, so let's go take a little tour of the universe here. So let's go into my base terminus, and we'll pop over to, so I have a outpost. Oops. I have an outpost. I've been playing with my Switch for too long, and I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I have an outpost where I make all my money. So we'll go run over there real quick. All right, so here we are. So Jeremy's asking what my backlight is set to right now. So let's take a look. And so, all right, so this is a great scene right here, because this is a perfect example. See how it went letterbox for a second? You're not seeing the backlight bleed into the letterbox area. And for me, that's kind of a little gripe, because it's, you know, it's just a nitpicky thing, but it's something that I notice. I just got to get my little dude in here, and then we'll take a look at, all right, we'll cool off in here. So if we go in and look at the backlight settings. So I just have it kind of set to brighter right now. So if we go down to normal, but even then I'm still seeing like the haze that I don't see. That's the whole thing, is that you get this. Yes, I have the backlight way up, so I could probably turn the backlight down a bit. Yeah, actually it looks a little better, doesn't it? All right, so we'll go back out into the. You know, that actually made a difference. Yeah, it looks a little better. So I'm going to put that in my notes. I think it's going to be a matter of managing that that backlight setting to get it where you want. But I really have no complaints here. I mean, this is like for the price. I mean, it's $700. Get the whole shebang. You got the Dolby Vision, all that good stuff. And this stuff is worth a lot of money. This is my. So I have a mining operation on this planet. So these things are storing what's being mined up there. And these pipes run down to here. And the reason why I have these down here is that this is like one of these extreme weather planets and you can get killed real quickly. So I have my portal here and I just portal in and I grab my stuff and I leave. So I come to this planet just to grab my money. Let me just go over to my document here. Jingwang Lian is here on the Amazon chat. Welcome. So Jeremy has the Android version of this TV, and his interface is obviously much different because it's more of a Google interface. But yeah, it's looking better now that I turned the backlight down a bit. So I'm going to make a note of that as I'm preparing for my shoot tomorrow. So I got to start cooking dinner in a little bit already. I can't believe how fast the day went by today. I got a bunch of phone calls. It's been busy because I'm on the school board, so we've been dealing with just a lot of issues related to the schools right now. So I'm going to write down on here. All right. So what do you say we go into Doolittle Space? And what's really cool about this game is when you play it in VR, you get this whole, you can just look around and get it's a real cool experience. And we can pop out a little bit further away from the planet here. And what's so cool about this game is that you can just go to any planet you want. It's just an immense universe. And the fact that you can just jump into the ship is just, to me, is so much fun. It's just a really, really fun game. But yeah, it looks good. Actually, it looks much better now that I turned the backlight setting down. And what's interesting here, because we have this is a pretty bright scene. So what I can do here is go back to the picture settings. And that's one thing that I've read in some of the reviews of this, is that you really have to take some time to make adjustments, because it's definitely getting brighter when I turn that backlight up, but the image looks better with the backlight turned down. And I'm not losing all that much brightness in the process there. So you do lose a little bit, but there's a better contrast to the image. Still not as good as OLED, but it's definitely an improvement here with it, like around the 50% mark. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. But what's also cool, as you can see here, as I'm moving the stick around, you get a nice preview of what you're seeing in that. And we'll switch back. Pretty cool stuff. And this will look better on my B-roll footage because I'm just watching the stream. I don't stream out at a very high bit rate, so that's part of the issue there. Yeah, it's good. All right, so let's take a look. Now, what I'm curious about, let's see if the image came back from my thing here. Now, I probably can't show this to you, but I'm just going to look at my footage from my latency test just to see what we got there. Let's wait for that to download, and we'll take a look at that. But yeah, this looks much better. Yeah, I'm not finding much to complain about here. I think it's looking pretty good. And now with this new gained knowledge that I have, I am going to jump back over to Netflix real quick, because I was watching, we got to be careful about all the copyright stuff. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, let's go over to an Amazon show, because I love The Expanse, and that's a good space show. So we'll load up Prime Video here real quick, and we'll see while this is processing. Because I still want to show some examples of that, the backlight thing. Now, what's interesting about Amazon, here's a little tip for you, is when you're browsing around on Amazon for 4K content, they often separate the 4K version from the 1080p version. So for example, here with The Expanse, this is not the 4K one. You have to go and search for it. Because I made that mistake earlier. I was like, where did it go? Even if you do like the universal search on Roku, it tends to bring you to the 4K. They make it really hard to get to the 4K content, unless I'm missing something obvious. So if I hit Expanse, and what you'll see, you got to scroll through all these. What you'll see is, so here's like season 4, right? Or season 1. So there's season 4, no 4K. But then if you look at this one, and it's hard to see, but there's a little black tag above the Prime, and that's the 4K version. And then you get the 4K. And this is full on HDR and all that good stuff. So I just want to grab some B-roll of the HDR getting enabled here. And so you'll see it here switch into HDR. And what's going on? There it goes. And Amazon takes a minute for it to spin up. Yeah, so here the backlight's at 100. Yeah, it's looking much better when I turn down that backlight. I'm going to totally get copyright struck in here. So let's back out for a second, because I wanted to look. So that credit roll was a really good example of something. Because it was super dark, and you didn't see, again, a lot of glow from that backlight. So whatever they're doing to get it. All right, so there should be some credits. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. So let me wait for that to disappear here if it does. But around those letters, like it's super black in the middle there, which is something that you don't often see on. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, so I think, turning that backlight down does help, and it doesn't impact the brightness all that much, which surprised me. But here, though, okay, so here's another good example. So if I pause it here, so this is a scene on my OLED that would look better. And what I can do is zoom in on that real quick. Going the wrong thing. And this is going to be so hard to get this on the camera properly, because it looks darker to you than it does to me. But there's a bit, you just can't avoid it, because it's just how these backlights work. So, you're not getting like in a scene like this where it's dark and you have some lit areas, like you're not going to see the same level there. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just an area that I think is going to be different here. But like I said, OLEDs ruin you. All right, so I got to just close out the game here real quick, because I am still, my controller was just vibrating, and I'm worried that my character is getting killed right now. And it looks like there's a bit of a delay on these. Let me pull back to the shot I had before. Oh, I'm getting attacked on No Man's Sky. So let's go and, yep, they did some damage here. Let's go kill this guy real quick. I have a very powerful fighter craft, so this won't last long. What's cool is that when you kill these pirates, you get, yeah, he's almost gone. We'll get the first one out of here. And they have a pretty cool fighter engine on this too. So like they did a good job with this game. It's hard for a small studio to do as much as they did here, and I can see, how they ran into some trouble, kind of over-promising and under-delivering. But they've really made up for it. It's really doing pretty well. I'm not doing too good here. Let's just take out this guy here, and then we can get back to finishing up my... Yeah, I'd say, for the price point here, I mean, if you're on a budget and you want a 65-inch 4K TV, you're going to be happy with this. And I think the Roku is a good choice for general consumers, because you're getting... Somebody asked a little bit earlier about the updates and stuff, and because they've got Roku doing the back-end interface, I think you'll likely see more updates happening here. All right, cool. All right, so let's go plop my ship down somewhere, and we'll wrap things up here. We'll just park on the space station. This is an abandoned space station. So we'll just, oops, we'll go that way, go this way. And we'll finish that up, and we'll see if I have any comments from all of you. Let's see what everyone's saying. Yeah, so Jeremy Gold makes a very good point also about connecting with Ethernet. That does make a big difference. And let me scroll back through some of the comments here. What is this? Condensed stellar ice. They've been adding stuff to this game? I haven't encountered condensed stellar ice before. What am I extracting from this? Ooh, I got uranium. A lot of uranium. Cool. Yeah, we'll just park it here on this abandoned space station. This is a... just want to save my game real quick. The Jeremy Gold says, all sources enabled when changing the settings. I don't think I did that, partly because I have different things. So like game mode will be for my PC and my Switch and stuff, and then the other modes will be different based on what I'm doing with it. Yeah, so the other thing, so what I wanted to, that's right, what I wanted to look at here, so I'm still seeing some of that same blur when we're moving the thing here. So there's definitely still some of that. So I think the response rate, that's what I was looking for. The response rate of the panel is rather slow. I don't know what it is, but you see it when you've got fast motion on screen, and that's kind of what is being compensated for when you've got the motion smoothing that they enable on these TVs. So not a big deal for 24p content, but when you're at 60 with this game or with the 8-bit stuff we were playing, you'll definitely notice that. And again, that's the price coming into play. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. And you're not getting like the full experience here is much better in person than what you're seeing through the camera. But yeah, the black levels are good, better than I expected. Not as good as OLED, of course. So there's definitely, you have to keep your expectations in check here. And I'm just watching what you're seeing right now. Like it looks a little bit blacker than it actually is to me right now. So it does a good job, though, of making fully black areas more black with that localized dimming. But when you've got something like this, it's a little bit harder for it to be as black because it has the backlight that it does need to enable in those areas. But it seems like it's doing a pretty good job. Like I said, your image is a little different than what I'm getting. So I hate to do this again to this camera because it always creates issues, but I want to see if I can get that exposure fixed here. So let's take a look real quick. And I'm going to have to pop out soon, everybody, because I've got to start working on dinner for the family here. It's funny how these streams, like, they go by so quick. And I spend like an hour, 2 hours. It doesn't feel like I'm spending that much time, but it really is. It's crazy. All right, so, and I can't adjust the shutter, but I can adjust the gain. So let me try one gain. And the reason why I can't adjust the shutter is that we have some of that LED flickering from the backlight. So I'm just going to slowly bring the gain up. Yeah, that's probably closer to what I'm currently seeing. Yeah, that looks better. So I'm just going to do a quick little B-roll run here. So I'm going to need to explain that backlighting issue. It's not an issue, it's just the nature of the TV. But I'll tell you what, it looks good. I think when you have that backlight turned down, you're not taking that much of a brightness hit, and it does improve the darker areas, for sure. And I'll tell you what, for a $700 set, I'm very pleased with this, because again, I bought a set for twice that a couple of years ago that did not do the backlighting as well as this one's doing. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good, what you're seeing is pretty close to what I'm seeing. It's a little bit dimmer. So I might do a little bit of an adjustment in post-production. But yeah, this looks good. Yeah, no, I'm really pleased, everybody. I mean, this is not, you could knock it for this or that, or I'm sure, like some of the super techie TV channels will really give it a knock for one thing or the other. But, as far as what I'm seeing for the price point, what essentially is a budget TV set, this looks pretty darn good to me. Yeah, it looks that's close to what I'm seeing with my eyes, so that's pretty good. So price, everybody, on this one, Reese is wondering, it is $6.99 on Amazon right now. And Jeremy wants to know, is local light dimming on low or high? Let's take a look. Go back to picture settings. Local dimming is on high. Yeah, this isn't bad. Not bad at all. All right, so we'll do a little more B. I'm just recording some B-roll here as we're going. And I think what we'll do before I close out, because I do have one more piece of B-roll I want to grab. So let me just let this record real quick just so I have it. I'm trying to make productive use of my time here and record some B-roll that I want to use in the full review. And I'm going to just quit No Man's Sky here, and I'm going to jump back. I'm going to jump back into Roku mode because I have a YouTube video that runs 4K at 60 hertz that I shot myself, so we don't have all the copyright issues to deal with there. Yeah, so I would say my big gripes with, and there's not many, and you can't really, how do you have a gripe with a TV that does, it's hard to say, because I don't want to say it's a gripe, because it's a, it's not designed to be competitive with a $3,000 television, and I've got the 65-inch OLED upstairs, like I said, so these these OLEDs, like if you buy an OLED, you will be ruined. You will never be able to watch another TV again, unless you have like a super high-end something else that is equivalent. But I bought that OLED up there, and I'm just like blown away with it. I'm just going to log into my YouTube account real quick. All right, so let me go sign in real quick. Sign in on my phone. Make sure your mobile device is on the same Wi-Fi. I gotta load up my YouTube real quick. There you go. Tap to sign. Oh, that's easy. Oh, maybe not so easy. Let me try it again. Tap your account. Make sure your mobile device is on the same Wi-Fi. Okay, so let's try this again. Oh, I see. I have to be like on the... Hey, the Angry Video Game Nerd has a new video. Wow, he posted this an hour ago. He's got almost 140,000 views already. That's amazing. All right, it's not working. Let me try another way. Okay, so I'm just going to log in through my web browser and just do it that way. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go youtube.com/activates. And then we're going to type in the codes. Oh, so tonight on the channel, everybody, we're going to have a review. So at that live stream that we did the other day with the Ethernet adapter, we're going to have that on tonight. All right, so let's log into my YouTube. There we go. Okay, allow. We're in. Okay, so it should. There we go. Perfect. Now I want to go over to it's going to pop in. I'm just looking for something real quick. Open the YouTube app on your mobile device so you can use the mic on that. Cool. Let's go Lon. So I have a Nantucket video from when I went to Nantucket. If you've never been to Nantucket, it is a great place. And I'm just going to search for it real quick, and then I will show you what I'm looking for here. Nantucket, search. There we go. Okay, so this is a 4K 60 hertz video. And let's do a little recording here. Looks good. Now I want to check and see if we can get the, yeah, we're at 4K. And put the stats for nerds up here. Because I'm looking for drop frames. And oddly, it's only running at 720p right now. I guess it's got a, because it's set to 4K. Or it could be that YouTube is doing that thing, isn't it? Let's go. Yeah, 4K, here we go. I think they're reducing bandwidth right now because of all the people using the internet. There we go, looks much better. And we're just gonna let this run and see if we get any drop frames. This is where it usually drops out, is right there, because there's a lot of, in here, because there's a lot of motion. But so far, so good. And I shot this with my with an iPhone 8 right when it came out. I had one in to review from a company. And it's a little washed out. It looks okay. A little washed out. But I'm more curious here just about the, yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, it's playing back perfectly. That's a good looking set. Like I said, I think the only thing you'll notice is just a little bit of a, in scenes like this, you know, it won't be as contrasty as it would be on an OLED. But again, you can't get that with a $700 TV. I love Nantucket. It's such a great place to visit. Yeah, it looks great.
This channel is brought to you by my Patreon.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Okay, so I think I'm going to probably close it out here. I will be streaming again before you know it. Yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping in just to, as I've been playing around with the stuff here, and I was just getting I spent a lot of time today just kind of getting the shots set up here because I was trying to get the cameras to work right. So I appreciate you all sticking with me as we got all this going here. Let me just check the Amazon thing again here. Let's see if anybody is chatting on there. Had a couple of people comment on the Amazon chat as we were doing it. So I'm going to probably shoot this tomorrow. We'll see how tonight's video does. If tonight's video does well, then this review would go up probably Friday or Saturday. And if tonight's video doesn't do well, then I will try to get it up a little bit sooner. But I've got a couple more things I want to play around with on it, but this was a good opportunity for me to get some sense as to how it's all working. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to thank a couple of people for their super chats, Carol Chermazinski and the Frugal Audiophile, much appreciated. And I really thank you all for tuning in. And I'm pretty happy with this set. I think it's a good general consumer device. It looks good. It's competitive. The price is right. And again, the stand is won me over because I have this very narrow TV stand, and you can adjust. You have two different positions you can put the little stand on, and I thought that was great. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, and we'll do a full review coming up soon. And again, this will be one of these reviews that is designed to be consumer focused because we're not going to do a whole bunch of benchmarks and all this other stuff because this is not a benchmarkable set. This is an entry-level set, and we'll talk about what you get for that entry-level price. So that's what we're going to focus on. Jeremy Gold's got another one for me to look at, the Android TV version. Yeah, I think we'll probably look at a few more of these. I really want to start doing more low-cost TV set reviews. The challenge is, what do you do with them after you're done? Because if I buy them, I've got to find a place to put them afterward, and it's hard to put these things back in the box. They're so packaged at the factory that makes it really hard to get repackaged because I just don't have enough room. I have a lot of room, but not enough room for all those TVs and stuff. So, cool. All right, everybody. Thank you, Jeremy, for the suggestion. I will take a look and see what I can find. And I will be back again before you know it. And I appreciate you all tuning in and watching me tinker around with yet another device. And we'll be back again very soon. So thank you all for watching. And we'll have a much more concise review up very shortly on the main channel at Lon.TV. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye to Amazon. And goodbye to YouTube.